and welcome to the Bundesliga podcast with myself, Sternik, and joining me this week is the one and only Ben Guzdek. Ben, how are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Ben, it's the Bundesliga podcast. I'm feeling great, looking forward to the show. Before we start, let me give you a rundown of all the games taking place this weekend. And kicking things off on Friday, it's Mainz taking on Wolfsburg. Saturday is Bayern München against Hertha Berlin. Hanover, Mönchengladbach, Hoffenheim, Freiburg, Stuttgart, Frankfurt. The evening game on Saturday, Werder Bremen, Hamburg. On Sunday, we've got Bayer Leverkusen, Schalke, and RB Leipzig, FC Köln. Super Sunday in my books, definitely. And on Monday night, Borussia Dortmund, Augsburg. Ben, which game are we going to kick off with?
I think we should start with Leipzig versus Köln.
Completely agree with you, Ben. What a game it promises to be. RB Leipzig just dropping out of the top four following last weekend's defeat. I believe it was away at Frankfurt. Yes, it was a 2-1 defeat, slipping into 5th place. They need a win here against bottom of the table FC Köln, but it's not going to be easy, is it? Because FC Köln have been in decent form.
Yes, they have. They already won once in the last 5 games, but they also drew as well in those 2 games. But Leipzig are in good home form this season. They're unbeaten at the moment. They've won 2 and they've drawn only once. So it'll be a tough test for Köln.
Now, Timo Werner is on a 4-game wait for a Bundesliga goal. He's only gone on a longer drought once in a Leipzig shirt, and that was in 2016. I mean, he's the main man. He wants to go to the World Cup for Germany. Obviously, Timo Werner, he's got to get his scoring boots on because it's not far off.
Oh, yeah. World Cup's on the way soon. He would definitely have to. This is an opportunity now, even at home as well, to Köln, who are bottom of the table. It's an opportunity for him to show him what he can do. Why he should be there.
I remember when Peter Stöger got the sack from Köln, and he got a tremendous ovation from the crowd, and Stefan Rufenbeck took over at FC Köln. And since then, they've won a few games. They've had a couple of draws as well, including last weekend's draw against Hanover. They did suffer a couple of defeats, 4-2 to Frankfurt and 3-2 to Dortmund, but they've scored 2 goals in those defeats. So they're playing well, they're scoring goals. It seems to be that the defence is the problem.
Yeah, it must let them down at times. You can see it on the table. They've drawn 5 and lost 7. That's too many times for a team that's trying to get Champions League places. When you look at the other teams in the table, they've only lost 2 or 3 games less than them, and that's what really counts in this time of the season. It's when things are really going to take shape.
Looking at the home form of RB Leipzig, I mean, it doesn't get better than this unless you're Bayern München. Leipzig have the second best home form at the moment, 7 wins from 11, including 3 draws and 1 defeat. So you'd think there'd be odds on to win.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, they're undefeated so far in 2018. After only 3 games, mind you. But, the odds are unfortunately against Köln, I must say.
If we were doing predictions, what would you say?
I'm going to say Köln. I'm probably going to give a good go into it, so I'm going to say 2-1 Leipzig.
You know what? I agree with you there. I mean, they had those couple of defeats against Frankfurt and Dortmund, and they played well there. They've scored a couple of goals, but ended up losing. I think we're going to see a similar story here, where Köln are going to go for it. They might get a couple of goals in this, but ultimately, they are going to come up a little bit short, and they're not going to get the 3 points. I'm afraid so. I'm very sorry, FC Köln fans. I don't think you'll manage to pick up the 3 points today. Sticking to the relegation theme, it's Werder Bremen against Hamburg. I mean, what a clash that is towards the bottom end of the table. Huge, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Werder Bremen have won 30 of the past 107 top 5 meetings between these 2 sides to date. So it is going to be a big game. It's just so tough what to call here.
Well, I'll tell you this is a good start. Bremen are yet to lose at home under Florian Kohfeldt, winning 4, drawing 3. So he's got a decent record as Florian at home. And Werder Bremen, for me, will be the favourites here. You know, they are playing on their own turf, and they are taking on a Hamburg side, which has lost 2 in a row now. It's really not looking good for Hamburg. Despite changing their manager, they've not managed to find any wins for a long, long time. I can't remember the last time they picked up a 3 points. So, what a massive relegation battle that is. And you'd expect Werder Bremen to pick up some points against this poor Hamburg side.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is another fixture again where the odds are certain against a relegation sort of side. Werder Bremen are unbeaten in 6 matches against sides in the bottom 3. They've won 3 and they've drawn 3. So we're going through a common fear, Seb, aren't we? It's just really like the relegation teams, they haven't got much chance here. But, you know, I'm a neutral fan. I expect like these relegation sort of teams to really put a good fight into it if they want to stick into the Bundesliga.
I found out when Hamburg last won, and it was 10 game. Well, they're on a 10-game winless run, so 11 games ago was their last victory. That is appalling for Hamburg. They cannot keep doing this. I mean, they flirt with relegation season after season, and one day, and it could even be this season, they'll pay the price. They'll pay a heavy price, and they'll be relegated.
Yeah, a few English fans. Well, know a few English teams who say go away with Premier League survival here. You know, probably Swansea City would be a good example.
True, Ben. True words. Moving on then to the next game. And the next game, when we're talking about relegation, it fits the bill. It's Mainz against Wolfsburg. Another big relegation game. 16th placed Mainz. They're currently in the playoff relegation position, so they wouldn't be automatically relegated, but they would have to compete in the playoff, and they're taking on Wolfsburg, who are currently 14th. But I'll tell you something, Ben. Wolfsburg are away from home in this game, so you'd probably think that Mainz would have a bit of an edge. Mainz also won last week, 2-0 against Hertha Berlin, so Mainz seem to have recovered from the from the bad run of 3 straight defeats. I couldn't get that out there, sorry. But I'll tell you what, Wolfsburg are coming into this game on a 2-game straight defeat run, but I'm going to give them some chances here. I think they could do it.
Yeah, F Mainz 05 are unbeaten in 6 top-flight home matches. Indeed, Wolfsburg haven't won in Mainz since Matchday 19 in 2010-11 season. That is long. That's a long time.
Well,
in football and calendar sense.
Absolutely. I'll tell you why I fancy Wolfsburg in this one, and I know people will think I'm mad. They could be right, I am mad. But I'm going for Wolfsburg in this one because simply to do with their away form. They haven't been too bad away from home. It's their home form which has been letting them down miraculously. Away from home, look at this. I mean, they have picked up 2 wins from 11, but they don't lose often. They had 5 draws as well. So I do like Wolfsburg's chances in this one. And you know what? As the time goes by in this Bundesliga season, I think they could avoid relegation.
Yeah, it's said to be a good game. They're only like a point behind, aren't they, Mainz?
I mean, they are. The fight for relegation is tremendous at the moment. You have, obviously, Köln 14 points in last place. Hamburg, 17 points. But then, here you go, Mainz, 23 points. Werder Bremen, 23 points. Wolfsburg, 24 points. So not a lot, no margin for error. But I tell you something, I have a good feeling about Wolfsburg in this one.
But so say like for betting sort of folk, Wolfsburg haven't won at Mainz in about 6 seasons now, and they're
6 games, yeah.
Yeah, I know in
3
seasons now, and that's pretty. You're gonna get pretty good odds if you've got Wolfsburg to win.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just look at they lost to Bayern Munich last weekend, 2-1. And fair play to Bayern Munich. They pretty much dominated that game. But Wolfsburg did have some good spells. They don't look helpless. I reckon they have a chance in this. And sometimes you got to give it a go. I'm a bit of a risk taker, and I take a risk on Wolfsburg to win this one. But let's move on to the champions. Yes, Bayern Munich, the league leaders. Somebody give them the trophy already. Look at this Bundesliga table. 19 points ahead. And it looks like might as well give Bayern the trophy already.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Bayern are unbeaten in 13 Bundesliga games against Hertha. They've won 11 and drawn twice. Hertha haven't claimed victory over Bayern Munich since February 2009. And a 2-1 win. They haven't won in Munich since October 1977. So the odds are against them.
Well, you mean against Hertha Berlin? Absolutely. I mean,
definitely.
Whoever plays against Bayern Munich at Bayern Munich, the odds will be against them. I don't care who you are, whether you're Paderborn, Hertha, Real Madrid, I don't care who you are, going to the Allianz Arena and trying to pick up a win is no easy feat. But, I mean, Hertha Berlin is a real, hard team to predict. They went on there was a run of 3 consecutive draws against Dortmund, against Bremen, against if I remember correctly, Hoffenheim. Then they picked up a victory over Leverkusen away from home, which I found impressive. But then they followed that up with a 2-0 loss against Mainz at home last week. Do you remember that? I mean, you can't predict what Hertha are going to do. But I agree with you. Bayern Munich should be able to get the job done and get the 3 points.
Yeah, let's be honest. Bayern, this is going to be another straight win for them. But I'm more impressed by Robert Lewandowski's record. It is now 20 goals this season. He's going to make his 250 Bundesliga appearance this weekend, and he's scored 171 goals and his 249th to date. Only 9 players have scored more.
Wow, that is a good stat. I'll tell you another stat. Bayern have won their last 10 league games, right?
Aye.
Their best run since an 11-game streak between May and October 2015, which was under Pep Guardiola. They wouldn't beat it, but they would match this streak with a win over Hertha Berlin. And I'll tell you what, I fancy them to do that. I fancy them to pick up a healthy win over Hertha Berlin. I don't know if you caught any of the Champions League of the midweek period, but they absolutely destroyed Besiktas.
I did watch the highlights on BT Sport, and after that red card, and it just went downhill there from there. And I expected dominant performance from Bayern and wanted to get to the quarter-final. They need to make a statement as well. They want to go win a Champions League trophy, because that's what really everyone wants this season. Juventus and Bayern definitely, because they all strive more than just league titles. They just strive for European championships.
So Bayern Munich the favourites?
Stupid
question.
Let's be honest.
Stupid question.
It's just you'd be daft not to bet against Bayern. But yeah, if you fancy yourself to win a lottery, you've got more chance of winning a lottery than.
Well, Hertha Berlin are a decent side, but they're probably not going to pick up many points at the Allianz Arena this weekend. Next up, Borussia Dortmund, BV Bear, taking on FC Augsburg. I gotta tell you, Ben, I am excited about this one. This is one of Augsburg's, if I'm correct in saying, one of their most successful seasons in recent history. They've done so well in 2017-18. They're managing to keep it up. They are 8th at the moment. Just imagine if they could get those Europa League places. That'd be history-making season for them, but they're doing well. Borussia Dortmund, on the other hand, let me tell you this. They are yet to lose under Peter Stöger, the new manager.
Oh, definitely not. And Dortmund here did certainly do well against top-flight teams. They averaged 2.15 points per top-flight game against Augsburg. They're only better off against Freiburg, which is 2.19, as far as current Bundesliga sides are concerned. Augsburg, however, have won just one of the last 13 Bundesliga matches against Dortmund, the same as Schalke. They're only winners against one side have faced on multiple occasions in the top flight, and that's the Bayer Leverkusen.
Dortmund are in good form as well, aren't they? I mean, they won that 3 weeks ago. They beat Köln 3-2. They followed that up with a 2-0 win over Hamburg. And they followed that up. But I don't know if you caught the game last weekend. 1-0 win against Mönchengladbach away from home. 3 good victories, but over 3 sides in the bottom half of the table. This is going to be a good test for Peter Stöger. They're taking on Augsburg, who are in decent form. They drew against, They lost a couple on the bounce. They lost to Stuttgart and they lost to Leipzig. But they're a good test at Augsburg, and I expect them to give Borussia Dortmund a good run out.
Oh, definitely. This should be a good test after the departure of Aubameyang. He's gone to Arsenal, and Michy Batshuayi's come in on loan. It should be a good test for him. I definitely fancy him to do well in this game. But it still surprises me why Antonio Conte let him go. But that's obviously for a different matter. Let's move on.
Let me just stick on this game for a while. Let me just ask you this. If Dortmund do finish second this season, it will be still a disappointing season, won't it? I mean, they're 19 points behind Bayern Munich. That is a disappointing season in anybody's eyes.
Yeah, with the team they've got, they definitely should. The table should be a bit more tired in terms of results. but I don't know. It's just Bayern, innit? They get.
Let me throw this into the hat.
Yeah.
If they win the Europa League, will that make up for finishing second in the league to Bayern Munich? Because it does secure you nowadays a Champions League place. Well, they would have anyway, but would a Europa League trophy please the fans a little bit?
I don't know. Probably a bit more closer to home. If they go for like a domestic competition sort of win, then yeah, that could be alright. But I don't know. The Europa League's is sort of like an easy way out, really, isn't it? They're a team that's definitely going to guarantee Champions League qualification. Why need to do that for the Europa League?
One man who I've been really impressed with is Michy Batshuayi. Do you know the man? Of course you know the man. I
just spoke about him earlier about Conte.
Do you remember that transfer? That there was like a triple threat transfer. You remember when Aubameyang went to Arsenal, Giroud went to Chelsea, and Batshuayi went to Dortmund, and everybody thought, who's going to get the most value out of those players? And obviously we've seen Giroud go to Chelsea. Yeah, he's been okay, hasn't he? We've seen Aubameyang go to Arsenal. Yeah, he's been okay. But we've seen Batshuayi go to Dortmund, and he's been the main man so far. Looks like Dortmund got the best deal so far.
Yeah, did he score was it 5 goals in 3 games? That's a pretty good start.
I was watching the Europa League game against Atlanta. The guy came on, changed the game. They won the match, for goodness sake. What a man. Yeah, what a striker.
He wins games for Chelsea as well. He won the game against Atletico Madrid for Chelsea in the group stage. Yeah, this is a man who's very clinical in front of a goal. It's like I said earlier, it just baffles me why Conte decided to let him out on loan. But this is obviously not the programme for that sort of nonsense.
No nonsense talk on the Bundesliga podcast with Sepp Sternik and Ben Guzdek. And now we're going to move on to a very special game, I must say. I'm really looking forward to this one. Bayer Leverkusen, Schalke 04. Now, talk about 2 giants of German football, 2 titans going head to head. What a game this could be. Schalke dropping down to 6th place recently. They had suffered a couple of defeats against, believe it or not, Bremen and obviously then against Bayern Munich. But who doesn't lose against Bayern Munich? Last week they came back strong. A 2-1 win over Hoffenheim leaves them on 37 points, just a point off Leipzig and Leverkusen. Leverkusen, who are currently taking the last Champions League spot in 4th spot. Bayer Leverkusen, they've done all right, haven't they, this season? Better than many people expected. 10 wins in the league so far. Will they get their 11th?
Yeah, I don't see why not. They got good quality for it. Especially, I do fancy Benjamin Hendricks. He's a fullback who's really coming on really nicely. He's really young age. Well, he's like 20, 21 or something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely, I do fancy him. We'll like him to go to the World Cup. But yeah, enough about that. Leverkusen have a 38 points, obviously so far in the league table. That's the best tally after 23 match days since 2013 to 14, when they had 43 points. But yeah, they had 30 on the board about 12 months ago. So, you're right. They are doing better than what everyone expected.
Let me tell you this, Ben. Are you ready for this? Are you sitting comfortably in that chair? Schalke beat Bayer Leverkusen 7-4 in 2006. It was their highest scoring top flight fixture. Unbelievable. Are we going to see anything like this?
It's only got a potential. I agree with you. Anything can happen in football, let's be honest. Wigan Athletic beat Manchester City. So Schalke can say...
I just still can't believe my eyes. 7-4 in 2006. Where was I that day? I can't believe it. What a scoreline. I hope we get something similar to that. Unbelievable. Now, Leverkusen have 38 points now. This is their best tally after 23 match days since, I believe, the 2013-14 season. So it's been a good season for them. If they can clinch Champions League football, it's going to be a successful season, isn't it?
Oh, right, definitely a successful season. Any team like Leverkusen, no offence to Leverkusen fans, obviously, but yeah, if they secure Champions League qualification, that's a really good start. I think that's a successful season for them. But I'm mostly looking out for Breel Mbolo from Schalke. Mbolo started Schalke's last 2 competitive games. He bagged their second against Hoffenheim. The Royal Blues are yet to lose a game in which the Switch attacker has scored. And that's 1-3 and drawn 1. And he's only young. He's our age. He's
our age, and we're sitting here talking about him. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's my favourite FIFA 18 career mode. Obviously, as you know, I enter a foot talk for a bit of a plug in there.
We don't mind a bit of a plug. Anyway, the fight for Champions League places is on. Obviously, we have Dortmund in second on 40 points, but listen to this. Eintracht Frankfurt right behind them on 39. In fourth, we have Bayer Leverkusen, 38 points. We have Leipzig on 38 points. We have Schalke on 37 points. What a battle! 3 points in it! But only 3 teams can join Bayern in those Champions League places.
Oh, definitely. It's going to be a very interesting second half to the season. It usually is about this sort of stage into the league table, say, takes shape. That's what most people say, but not in the Bundesliga. No, not a chance. Only 3 points separate 5 sides. That's just entertainment at its value there. Entertainment value.
Well, I'll tell you what, the title race is over. That's pretty much, we're sure about that, aren't we? Something incredible must have
definitely.
happened. But the race for the Champions League places, the race for relegation, well, it's not really a race, it's the race to escape relegation, it's all on. So don't write off the Bundesliga yet, ladies and gents. Still a lot to play for, isn't there?
Yeah, people are always interested in who's going to be a champion. I'm more interested in who's going to survive relegation at this time of the season, or who's even going to qualify for Champions League, like you said. This is when things shape up in the Bundesliga now.
Let's move on to another game that I've got my eyes on, and it concerns Hanover. And Hanover are taking on Borussia Mönchengladbach. And there is no better word in the German language, or any language, than Mönchengladbach. What a word that is. What a name for a team. Beautiful. And people call it the German team. Forget that. It's Mönchengladbach. What a name. But I tell you what, they're in poor form. They're in woeful form. 4 defeats on the trot. 4 weeks ago, lost to Frankfurt 2-0. Followed that up by a loss to Leipzig. Followed that up by a loss to Stuttgart. Who loses to Stuttgart? Then they followed that up by a defeat to local rivals Borussia Dortmund. 4 defeats in a row. Hanover are on the up. Tough. It's going to be a tough game for Mönchengladbach, but they need a win.
But the stats obviously are for Mönchengladbach, actually, but rather than for Hanover. You know, Hanover have lost 7 in the last 9 top-flight games against Gladbach, and they won 2. They've dropped 23 points from lead positions in this fixture. They've lost 5. They've had 5 defeats against Mönchengladbach. And this sort of stage, you're trying to qualify for the Europa League, and at least anyway. You know, with a point to separate 2 sides, it's going to be interesting who comes out on top.
I'll tell you what, Ben. I'll tell you what. Dieter Hecking has done a great job at Mönchengladbach. And before the new year, I remember Mönchengladbach within that top 4, fighting for perhaps a chance at the Champions League. But now, if you look at them in the table, 31 points, 10th place. Looks like the race for Europe is over for them. I mean, they're quite far behind now. I know it's not, we still have a long way to go until the end of the season. But if they lose here to Hanover, can you see them getting back in those Champions League places?
No, it'll definitely be over for them, if I'm honest. It'll most likely be, you know, how high they can get. Europa League qualification will be out the window for them, I think. But, you know, if they lose this game, then they've got a lot of catching up to do. Anything's possible, but that's just a cliche, I'm afraid.
One of the stories of the season for me has been Hanover. Promoted last season, and look at them now, 7th in the Bundesliga table. Their counterparts in promotion, Stuttgart, are down there in 13th. Credit to Hanover for sticking in there and giving it a good old go. And it's great to see them near the top of the table. They've done well. And look at their home form. Look at that home. It's a beautiful sight. 5th best home form in the Bundesliga. 6 wins from 11. They don't concede often. They've conceded 13 at home this season, scored 20. So the wins have come. Most of them have been quite narrow, but they have come, and they find themselves in a very, very good position. So they're going to be hard to beat, aren't they?
Yeah, they've done themselves very much proud of Hanover. Yeah, like you said, they come out just being newly promoted. So they're doing ridiculously well for a side that's been newly promoted. But anyway, Hanover came from behind to join Cologne last weekend. They have claimed 11 points for losing positions this term. Only Freiburg have 1 more.
Interesting. Let's move over now to the next game, and it features VfB Stuttgart against Eintracht Frankfurt. Now, I mentioned before the fight for the top 4, and the one team that you wouldn't expect to see is Eintracht Frankfurt. Actually, they're third place at the moment and doing very, very well indeed. They're on a 2-game winning run, a 4-2 win over Köln, followed by a 2-1 win over Leipzig, of all teams. So they're in good form, aren't they, Frankfurt?
Oh, definitely. This is the 92nd meeting, is it? And Stuttgart have only claimed more top flight wins versus Schalke than against Frankfurt. So that's an interesting stat there. But only Bayern have conceded fewer goals this season than Frankfurt and Stuttgart. So both teams are doing very well defensively.
I'll tell you what's interesting, Ben.
So so the question is actually going to be any goals?
let me throw some more info at you, Ben. Let me throw some more info.
I'm listening.
You have Stuttgart against Eintracht Frankfurt, right? Stuttgart are playing at home this game. Their home form has been stunning, has been great, has been fantastic. It's what has been keeping them up above the relegation. Currently, they're in 13th place. Most of their points, let me tell you this, they've earned 27 points this campaign. At home, they picked up 22 of them. So at home, it's like a fortress, isn't it? I mean, that is where they excel. On the other hand, Eintracht Frankfurt, you'd think, because they're in third place overall, they'll probably have a mixed, some good results at home, some good results away. Wrong! It's their away form, believe it or not, that has been keeping Frankfurt in those Champions League places. Fantastic, superb, unbelievable away form. 6 wins from 11. At home, Frankfurt, just to compare, have been woeful. 5 wins from 12, picked up 18 points from 12 games at home. It's not their home form that's been keeping them in the Champions League places. It's their away form. And not today, on game day, they'll be away from home. So you've got a home side who plays well at home and an away team who plays well away. What a mix.
Yeah, this is a side who's just defines the word inconsistent. They've now won consecutive matches for the first time this season. So it just describes how just the inconsistency they've been, and dearie me. That's all I can say. It's just
Ben, I've got some bad news for you. We are 27 minutes into this podcast, and we have 1 game left. So just 3 minutes to get through this one. Hoffenheim take it on Sport Club Freiburg. What a game this promises. I'm just kidding. Well, I say that. I am not really hyped up for this one. Hoffenheim in 9th, Freiburg in 12th. I don't usually say this, but I just don't know where this is going to go.
That's a good question, if I'm honest. But this is why we chose it last. But, dearie me, Hoffenheim against Freiburg. That's 9th against 12th. Both sides are in pretty poor form. It's hard to tell. Another question: who's going to score?
Since Julian Nagelsmann took over at Hoffenheim, they've had an extraordinary run. They went to they finished 4th last season, as I remember, after a good run in the second half of the season. They made it to the Champions League qualifiers where they lost to Liverpool. Now they are, I believe they were in the Europa League. They're not there anymore, aren't they, after a poor run in the group stages. So they've got this to concentrate on now, the Bundesliga. Can they get up there and finish in those can finish at least in those European places once more? Well, they do have a chance. They are 7 points behind currently, so 6 points behind Schalke, who are occupying the last European place. So, but they do need a win here against Freiburg.
Yeah, definitely. Hoffenheim have let in a league high 15 goals in 2018. They lie 16th in the table, representing games played this year. So, it's just, I feel like they're just going to fall short in the last hurdle, if I'm honest, because Freiburg have lost just one of the last 11 Bundesliga games. And Freiburg have let in a league high 30 goals on their travels. They've kept just 1 clean sheet in the last 14 on the road. But, I don't know, it just seems more like a draw to me. This is why we chose it last.
Absolutely. Well, this is it. All the games have been covered. We hope you enjoyed this Bundesliga preview. What a preview it has been. What a podcast it has been. Thank you very much, Ben, for joining me on this episode. Hopefully, we'll do it again next week.
That's a pleasure. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it next week. Let's keep it going until the end of the season, and then we'll see what's what. It's been a pleasure talking to you, Ben. Hopefully, all the games go as planned. Hopefully we see plenty of goals as well. Thank you very much for listening, and make sure to join us next week if we're there.